Rayquaza dropping tonight, and also Kukui. I will be doing a live stream when it does drop. Well, it's a Kukui summoning live stream, not a Rayquaza one. But do check it out when that happens. That's 10 p.m. PST, right? Just your usual reset time tonight, and also or day if you're some other in some other place in the world. And also today's topic, we're gonna be we will be going over some potential stuff that you would probably want to prepare yourselves to use against Rayquaza and Zinnia once they drop. So as soon as we get our daily discount summons done, we'll go do that. So first of all, I have to say these are just based on predictions and what little info we have about, oh cool, 4-star, about all that stuff at the moment. So it really depends on how the stages go and all that, how Rayquaza's stage works, right? But we do have a lot of clues on how it probably might work. So let's go into news first. The second page, where we have the 6th message from Pokemon Masters team. And when we scroll all the way down to the legendary events section, so here is where we get some of our clues. So it says, many opponents that are weak to rock type attacks will appear in this legendary event, so we recommend training up sync pairs like Signasuit, Brock, Antar, and Grand Amora. Do not use Grand Amora. I don't care how this stage plays out. Do not use this guy. He's like absolute garbage. He's probably like Grand Amora is probably going to be like the equivalent of Clay and Palpitoad in the Solgaleo event. So people bringing Grand Amora either don't know what the heck's going on or they're trolling. Again, it might turn out that Grand Amora might be somewhat useful in the event, but this guy is just really, really bad. Like, maybe if the key to beating Rayquaza is, oh, you have to flinch him a bunch of times or, slow him down, then okay, maybe you have to use Grand Amora. But from what we see or what we know now, there are no hints to that. So yeah, we'll go over Grand Amora more when the event drops, but I highly doubt dude's gonna be much useful. He's probably the worst rock type in the game. I don't know, Onyx is pretty bad as well. Anyways, moving on. Also, moves that lower your enemy's defenses may prove vital. So for those of you who don't know already, Rayquaza is weak to rock types, so that's why they're mentioning rock types. And very likely we will have to use rock types to defeat Rayquaza. So first of all, let's go into the decks and check out some of these rock types. So obviously, probably what's going to be the most useful against this event, just judging from what they've been saying so far, is the new, and also patterns, is the new Lycanroc from Kukui, right? Since I don't know, they just kind of like doing this stuff. Like if you guys remember with Mewtwo, they dropped Grimsley with Mewtwo, which Grimsley somehow just proves himself to be like the one of the best Mewtwo killers. Although honestly, Bryson was probably more useful than, not probably, definitely more useful than Grimsley and the Mewtwo. But Grimsley was really, really good as well. But again, for those who don't know, the Kukui and Lycanroc that's dropping later day, which I will be summoning live for, so do check out the live stream and subscribe for that stuff. But the Kukui and Lycanroc, the reason why they're probably going to be very, very useful for this event is, first of all, they're rock type, and actually they do decent damage. They do have quick moves that don't require any move gauges, so you can just like spam those moves like non-stop. Well, not non-stop, you got like, what, 9 attempts total or something before you run out of attempts, but I think it was 9, right? Or was it 12? I can't remember. Let's see. Cell Rock, 3 uses, and you got refreshing, which refreshes the uses by 3. You use that. It is 9 uses. It also sharply raises attack every time you use that. But another reason why Kukui and Lycanroc will very likely be extremely useful for this event is because Kukui and Lycanroc also have Leer, right? It's single target move, lowers. Oh no, it's not single target, as someone had to remind me. It's not single target. It's actually all of your opponents, or should be all of your opponents, and just lowers the defenses of all your opponents, which again, in the message they did talk about lowering the opponent's defenses being key to this stage, right? As well as, the rock type stuff, right? So rock type, lowering defenses, Kukui got it all. And also, what also might be useful with Kukui is the sync move, right? So the sync move, called Island Splintered Storm Shards, removes physical and special damage reducing effects from the opponent's field. So that could also be potentially handy. Again, it's kind of vague on the lowering opponent's defenses. It could be like literally lowering their defenses, or they could also mean, oh, they might have like some kind of, physical barrier, physical defensive barrier that you need to like take out. So moving on. So that's probably one of the best. Moving on to some alternatives if you don't, have Kukui or don't want to summon for Kukui, which I will also do a video, or actually I probably already have that video up of if folks are summon on Kukui or not. So anyways, let's check out some rock type Pokemon, or I guess Pokemon with rock type moves, because a few of them aren't rock type here. So obviously our number one candidate, probably who is going to be the MVP of this whole event, is probably going to be the other Lycanroc, Olivia, right? Olivia and the Midnight Lycanroc. Kukui's is middays, right? So this is pretty straightforward. Olivia just does like insane amounts of damage as long as we're allowed to crit, right? If we can't crit, then she probably won't be as useful. If they do have like a crit barrier or whatever, which would be unfortunate for Olivia, but if they don't, Olivia will destroy this event. I'm pretty sure like Olivia just destroys almost like every event that doesn't have a crit barrier. She's just that incredible, right? So Olivia would be a good DPS unit to use here. And then, like, the next best rock-type attacker is Tyranitar, which isn't that great, unfortunately. Its moves are kind of poop. It has this thing, which raises the user's defense and also makes the next attack a sure hit and crit. I really don't like these kind of moves. It's like a one-time use for crit and sure hit. And it's like, it's a sure hit, but, like, your move is, like, one's 95% accuracy, the other one's 90% accuracy, which, again, not 100%, but like I would have much preferred if this was just like raises user's defense and crit instead, instead of a sure crit and a sure hit. But oh well. I'm not here to complain about Tyranitar's moveset, but basically Tyranitar would be an okay-ish substitute if you don't have Olivia either. And then after that, honestly, none of the other rock types are much useful. Cranidos does a lot of damage, but is a suicide bomber, basically. Dude has recoil that is absolutely insane. You will die after a head smash. You will die. Really, a really terrible death. So, I mean, you can use it for that, like, one hit. Maybe if you're lucky, you get 2 hits in. But, except for that, probably wouldn't use Cranidos, right? And, obviously, Nose Pass is support. These two are really fringe techs. This guy being like one of the worst, right? Unfortunately, this guy just does like nothing. I mean, it has a potion, so there's that. But anyways, moving on from rock types, you can have a lot of substitutes for damage or DPS, right? If you want some of the best DPS in the game, obviously something like Chris, Brendan, Mewtwo, those would all be fine, right? If the enemy can be burned, then Torkoal will probably obliterate it as well. Stuff like Nolan, just your regular run-the-mill DPS that are kind of decent. Garchomp maybe would do decent here. And now let's move on to some interesting options for tech units, because there could potentially be some really decent tech units that you can actually use, because again, they did mention a lot of like tech stuff. Well, they didn't explicitly say that, but they did mention some mechanics that the enemy is weak to, mainly being the defense lowering thing, and I think that was the only one. But anyways, if you want any other lowering defense units, if you don't get the Lycanroc Kukui, right, you can use Nanu. Nanu has Screech, right? For 2 bars, you sharply lowers the target's defense. This is a single target move, right? You probably would use it on Rayquaza anyways, just the mid target, right? And you sharply lower their defense. So in comparison to Leer, right, you only do 1 target, but you sharply lower it instead of just regular lower. So there's that, I guess. Some other options, Makuhita, if it really does have some kind of a physical barrier, you could Brick Break, and also Makuhita does have Rock Smash, which has a good chance of lowering the target's defense. So there's that as well. Also, you know, I got Potions if you ever need that. So that's another option. And I think there's one more option that has defensive debuffs, right? Or am I tripping? Let's see. I don't think anyone else does. For the most part, right? What does? Oh, also, if it has any, you know, insane buffs, you could always use Bryson to haze out the buffs, which happened with Mewtwo. Not sure if they're gonna do that again with Rayquaza. So, moving on to some supports, right? Obviously, one of the better all-around supports in the game, Rosa Delibird, with all the presents just to boost the move gauge recovery. You know, it's just helpful almost everywhere. I'd say almost everywhere because it's not like really everywhere. Like unless, you know, if your team is running like Nolan, if they're running like Torkoal, then you probably don't need all the presents that much. You might get, you know, a lucky stat over here, right? If you get attack for Nolan or special attack for Torkoal, but otherwise, won't be too useful for them, but will be useful for almost every other striker in the game that, you know, that is a 3 or 4 bar striker, right? I also got X attack all, which would be very useful for Olivia's, right? So that would be nice. Also, Dusclops might probably just be the best one here, just because you both have physical buffs and you also have Dar hits if you don't want the Olivia's to go hard as diamonds, right? Because, you know, you are lowering your special defense, and who knows how hard Rayquaza is gonna hit, right? And you know, it does have special type moves, right? And Dusclops is just always, it's just a great support all around, right? And if you don't have any of those, I guess some other decent physical options. Maybe if you really don't have anything and just want to play support, then sure, you could go with Liza, right? Sharply raises attack and special attack. But otherwise, you really, I mean, you could use quite a few of these. But obviously, you mainly want supports that could raise attack, and just for Olivia, if you are, you know, running into a team with Olivia's, they do have X attack themselves, but it's just better to, you know, let them just do DPS, and then you could do the support buffs instead. And if you don't have Olivia or any decent rock type or any decent DPS at all. So anyways, that's basically it. Just some, you know, stuff that folks should potentially prepare for if you want to level up a few of these, right? Unlock their moves and all that. Unlock level caps that you might find useful for Olivia, or not Olivia. I mean, Olivia's going to be the main focus of, probably going to be the main focus of this event, but you know, just get ready for Zinnia and Rayquaza, all that stuff. So anyways, that's me for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Again, I will be live streaming the Kukui summon as soon as it comes up, or maybe, you know, a few minutes before it comes up. That's usually what I do. So tune in for that. Subscribe for all that other Pokemon Masters good stuff that's coming soon, right? And yeah, like and enjoy this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.